Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the International Webinar Series on Holistic Health, Well-being and Sustainable Development 2025-26, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 78 years of independence and United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030. And Viksit Bharat in 2047 as part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Art, Sciences and Wellbeing. Before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः.
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's sessions and celebrations and commemorations. Today, 8th and 9th May is commemorated as time of remembrance and reconciliation for those who lost their lives during the Second World War. The historic event that established the conditions for creation of the United Nations by Resolution 59 by 26 of 22nd November 2004, the UN General Assembly declared 8th and 9th May as a time of remembrance and reconciliation. And while recognizing that member states may have individual days of victory, liberation, and commemoration, invited all member states, organizations of the United Nations system, non-governmental organizations, and individuals to observe annually either one or both of these days in an appropriate manner to pay tribute to all victims of the Second World War. The Assembly stressed that the historic event established for conditions for the creation of the United States of the United Nations to unite their efforts in dealing with new challenges and threats, with the United Nations playing a central role, and to make every effort to settle all disputes by peaceful means in conformity with the Charter of the United Nations and in such a manner that international peace and security are not in danger. So on 2nd March 2010, by Resolution 64 by 257, the General Assembly invited all member states, organizations of the United Nations system, non-governmental organizations, and individuals to observe 8th, 9th May in appropriate manner to pay tribute to all victims of the Second World War. A special solemn meeting of the General Assembly in commemoration of all victims of the war was held in the second week of May 2010, making the 65th anniversary of the end of the Second World War. So during the commemoration, the Secretary General called the Second World War one of the most epic struggles for the freedom and liberation in history, adding that its cost was beyond calculation, beyond comprehension. 40 million civilians dead, 20 million soldiers, nearby half of those in the Soviet Union alone. So in resolution 69 by 267, the General Assembly recalled that Second World War brought untold sorrow to humankind, particularly in Europe, Asia, Africa, the Pacific, and other parts of the world. If underline the progress made since the end of the Second World War in overcoming its legacy and promoting reconciliation, international and regional cooperation, and democratic values, human rights, and fundamental freedom. In particular, through the United Nations and the establishments of regional and sub-regional organization and other appropriate frameworks. A special Solomon meeting marking the 8th anniversary of the Second World War was held on 7th May 2025. The name United Nations, coined by the United States President Franklin D. Roosevelt, was the first used in declaration by United Nations of 1st January 1942. During the Second World War, when representations of 26 nations pledged their governments to continue fighting together against the Axis powers. Today is also commemorated as World Migratory Day. Every bird counts. Your observation matters. We are development. Every bird counts. Your observation matter highlights the important role of community science, also referred to as citizen science, for the conservation of migratory birds. World Migratory Bird Day 2026 highlights important role of community science in bird conservation. The global partners behind World Migratory Bird Day, in short known as WMBD, are excited to announce the theme for 2026, Every Bird Counts, Your Observations Matter, highlighting the important role of community science, also referred to as citizen science, for the conservation of migratory birds. The 2026 campaign shines a spotlight on the people-driven efforts that are essential for the bird conservation, and the science celebrating how individual communities and organizations around the world are helping to build knowledge base to better conserve migratory birds across borders. So by focusing on the contribution of individuals, particularly science and public bird monitoring efforts, the campaign will celebrate the millions of birds enthusiasts around the world that are contributing to the data and knowledge that inform policy decisions that are essential for bird conservation. Through each recorded observation, the power of community science from backyard observation to coordinated global survey, millions of peoples around the world contribute vital information about migratory birds, their habitats, and the challenges they face each year. Through these recorded observations, people are engaging in community citizen science that helps track migration patterns, population trends, and changes in habitats across the flyways. The campaign will showcase how each observation contributes essential data and supports evidence-based observation at local, national, and international scales, connecting with nature to support conservation. When people take part in the bird counting activities that help gather this important data, they also strengthen their connections to the nature, deepen their understanding of the pressures facing birds, and often become stewards of nature protection, strengthening society's engagement with nature. A global effort across all flyways, this year's theme in particularly meaningful as it recognizes the many community science projects along all of the world major flyways will be focusing on the monitoring initiatives and platforms that already exist to record bird observations in ways that support both science and policy. World Migratory Bird Day 2026 also coincides with the 60th anniversary of the International Waterbird Census, an opportunity to celebrate the global effort to the monitor and protect migratory waterbirds, as well as promote other community and citizen science initiatives across all flyways of the world. By recognizing people to gather the observations from across the migratory routes, we build a clear picture of the story of flyways, emphasizing connectivity, institutional collaboration, and our collaborative responsibility. You can get involved in conservation focused projects that contribute to long-term monitoring and research, such as community science programs, coordinated bird counts, or public events that build awareness of how sustained data collection supports migratory birds. Even small regular observations can add value when they are part of the large ongoing effort to track population over time. However, you choose to participate, thoughtful and consistent engagement helps strengthen the science that informs conservation policy across the world flyways. Both Migratory Bird Day 2026 will take place on May 9th May and 10th October, recognizing that migration occurs at different times in the northern and southern hemisphere and is part of repeating annual cycle. The partners behind World Migratory Bird Day look forward to working closely with all interested stakeholders and external patents, governments, organizations, and communities across all flyways to amplify this message and continue using World Migratory Bird Day as a way to raise awareness and conservation action for migratory birds across borders. World Migratory Bird Day celebrates each year around the world and celebrated. Bird Day connects to the people, organizations, and communities through education, events, and action. Activities range from bird walks and festivals to the community science, habitat restoration, and policy engagement. World Migratory Bird Day emphasizes that migratory bird conservation is a shared responsibility. By working together across countries and flyways, we can help ensure that migratory birds can continue to thrive for generations to come. Today is commemorated as World Belly Dance Day on May 9, which is celebrated on the second Saturday of May every year. It is one of the most respected styles of dancing in the world, especially in the Middle East. It has a long celebrated history across many countries. It is known for featuring complex movements of the hips and torso and shiny costumes with many ornaments. The most common style of costume is the bedia from the Egypt, where the dance most likely originated. Typically, it includes a fitted top or a bra, a fitted with hip belt and a full-length skirt or harem pants. Full-length dresses are sometimes worn, especially when dancing is more earthy styles. There are also tribal style costumes that adopt features of traditional folkloric costumes from all over the world. This includes circle skirts, pantaloons, and turbans of headed dresses decked with feathers or flowers. Today is also commemorated as Tear the Tags of the Mattress Day on May 9th. This is not an event, but timid. So if you crave excitement and like the living on the edge, forgo those posted warnings from the government and rip off those tags. Do the And in case you are wondering if removing a tag is illegal, be advised that it is for some of the notification that removal of mattress tags is punishable by law and is not directed to consumers, but the mattress manufacturers. When the government required that manufacturers add tags to the mattress ingredients, there weren't some who weren't using high quality materials. And of course, they didn't want consumers to know, so that they ripped off the tags before the mattress hit the retailer's showroom floors. It's for that reason that a required notice was added on every tag stating that it is punishable by law to remove or damage a tag. There is also commemorated as Stay Up All the Night Day on second Saturday in May and falls on May 9th this year. As the name of the day implies, it is a day of fun for people to stay up all night doing all sorts of activities that they prefer to do. At least one time in everyone's life, they have pushed all nighter, be it for fun, finishing homework or night shift at work. This day, people across the world can simply stay up at night to celebrate, stay up all night in a day to let loose and have fun with family or friends. So go for it and stay up all the night. Today is also commemorated as National Stamp Out Hunger Food Drive Day, which is observed on the second Saturday of May, that takes place on May 9th. It is the largest food drive in the country and takes place in more than 10,000 cities and towns. 1 in 8 Americans face hunger every day, and we want to remind that everyone that can help with this wonderful initiative. The Stamp Out Hunger Donor Drive aims to feed the hungry. In the US, and as always, with your help, we can and we do. Today is also commemorated as Russian Victory Day on May 9th in Russia. The celebration gets grander with every year passing. Russia celebrates Victory Day to commemorate the Soviet Union's victory over Germany in World War II. While traditionally a day of introspection and mourning for Europe, the spirit of Russia is diametrically the opposite. Victory Days is a public holiday. Spectacular military parades and the armed force go all out. Some consider it a remembrance of millions of Russians who died in the war. Today is also commemorated as National Windmill Day on May 9th, which is celebrated on second Saturday of May every year. Windmills are a common feature in the Western world for centuries. They served as manufacturing plants and sources of energy. They shaped the development of villages, towns, in some cases, entire countries. They offer clean energy by harnessing the power of the wind. Over the years, people added more innovations to make them more effective. The modern day incarnation of the windmill, the wind turbine, is a much more complex and sophisticated piece of technology. Some countries like Denmark and Portugal have up to 20% of their energy generated by wind turbines. Windmills are still used to generate electricity even today. Today is also commemorated as National Train Day on May 9th in US. That is every year on the Saturday closest to May 10th. So this day was first celebrated in the year 2008 and continues to be celebrated to this day. The celebrations were conceptualized by Amtrak as a way to spread awareness about the history of railway networks in the US and why more people should use the mode of this transport. Railways are one of the most eco-friendly ways to go from one place to another. Amtrak offers railroad service in countless cities. In the US and 3 cities in Canada, railways don't just transport people from one place to another, but are also involved in the transportation of goods and certain services. Today is also commemorated as National Sleepover Day in US on May 9th to celebrate the amazing sleepovers that have been a way for friends to bond for decades. We can relive midnight bonding with friends that made our teens assholes. Sleepovers have been held by adolescents and teenagers as a way to spend more time with friends in free, wholesome environment. It's an opportunity for people to let their head down and make some incredible memories with their friends, from sharing stories about their personal lives to bonding over a sad movie together. Today is also commemorated as National Mini Golf Day. Which is celebrated every second Saturday of May. We are going to celebrate heading down to the nearest mini golf course with our family and friends, trying out our putting skills. It was initially invented to allow women to play golf, although golf has become more inclusive with people of all genders playing the game. Miniature golf still hasn't diminished in popularity. As the name suggests, miniature golf is a mini version of golf with shorter courses, but the same number of holes. In addition, miniature golf courses are usually themed and include various obstacles and make the game more challenging and exciting. Today is also commemorated as National Butterscotch Brownie Day on May 9. If you love delicious sweet buttery treats, the National Butterscotch Brownie Day on May 9th is a day for you. The tasty baked goods are a perfect mixture of chewy and chunky, a combo that is certainly worth of celebrations. For the uninitiated, butterscotch brownie is a baked treat made from a combination of flour, brown sugar, butter, eggs, baking powder, vanilla, and of course butterscotch chips. Just list the ingredients is enough to make the mouth water. On National Butterscotch Brownie Day, we get to gorge on all tasty butterscotch flavored soft dessert treats we can get our hands on. It is one of the most delicious days around. Today is also commemorated as National Babysitter Day. We acknowledge to offer the people who offer the essential services of caring our children on National Babysitter Day on May 9th, which happens every Saturday before Mother's Day. Babysitters, nannies, or AU pairs have been in business since the 19th century. when it was suggested that the world sits in the context originated from hence caring for the eggs laid by sitting on them, safety by baby sitters training company invented this day in 2003 to honor the individuals who commit to looking after our children when we can't. Today is also commemorated as Dog Mom Day on May 9th in US, which is observed on second Saturday in May and taking place on May 9th this year. It's a day for all pup-loving women across the country to celebrate their special kind of mother. Imagine that dogs came into our lives between 20,000 and 40,000 years ago. Dogs are descendants of now extinct wolf species. Over the years, they lost their wild nature and have become humans' best friend and most loyal friends. They have even wormed their way into our hearts, creating deep bonds with us and becoming our family members. There are over 350 different dog breeds in the world, each having its own distinct features and abilities, knowing a dog's characteristics before adopting to ensure they are perfect match for you, and it's always best. Today is also commemorated as Brunch for Lunch Day in US on the day before Mother's Day every year, and we are excited to celebrate this day with you. This year falls on May 9th. We love the brunch as much as you do too. We get to unwind, relax, and enjoy a tasty meal and some Bloody Marys with family or friends not familiar with the Bloody Marys? Or are you wondering how brunch came to be? Today is also commemorated as Archer's Day in US on this second Saturday in May. Archery is a skill that defined human civilization at its early stages. It has been around for ages and in the way helped shape today's world. Archaeologists believe that use of bows and arrows started as early as 50,000 years ago. Early humans threw spears to kill their enemies. Soon people found that it is easier if you use a bow and decrease the size of spear. This tactic laid the foundation for archery, and bows and arrows soon dominated warfare and became an integral part of their every ancient military unit. This day was created to celebrate archery in all its glory and educate people about the different facets of the sports. Today is also commemorated as National Stuttering Awareness Week from May 9th to 15th in US. This is an observance in the US for the people who stutter. It helps people who stutter to come out in the open and not be afraid of anyone, judging them for their speech disorder. This day is usually observed by the entire country, but a lot of hospitals and medical institutions organize special events to help people who stutter to talk without any fear. And one in every 25 children in the US has some or other issue with stuttering. Today is also commemorated as Magnetic Alphabets Day or Alphabet Magnetic Day. is a fun and nostalgic tribute to one of the simplest yet most cherished childhood pastimes. Rearranging colorful alphabet magnets on the fridge or for years. The magnetic letters have sparked creativity, laughter, and learning as people of all ages spell out everything from wiki phrases to their favorite song lyrics, whether remember arranging them as a kid or still use them to leave messages or jokes on your fridge today. This day is a reminder of how something so simple can bring joy. On Alphabet Magnet Day, take a moment to explore unique and modern alphabet magnets to continue this tradition. Today is also commemorated as National Men's Weekend from 9th to 10th, 2026. In UK, people all over UK celebrate National Men's Weekend every second weekend of May, and this year it will run from May 9 to 10. The annual festival is facilitated by the Wind and Water Mills area of the Society for the Protection of Ancient Buildings, SPABs. On the weekend, numerous protected wind and water mills, which are often closed to all the masses, open their doors and offer some knowledge into process, workings, and history of the mills. There is also commemorated as National Bike Week from May 9th to 17th in UK, which is commemorated each year in the Ireland and does not have a fixed date since it's announced a few months before the event. Every year, Ireland promotes the Bike Week event, where people from all around the country get together to participate in different bike riding activities through pre-allocated routes. Various cities set different schedules and locations to mark National Bike Week. Taking part in the event is free. All you need is a bike, that is bicycle, and the right equipment. Today is also commemorated as Cornelia de Lange Syndrome Awareness Day on May 9th in US. On the second Saturday of May every year, and this day was not observed until 1989 when it was established as a means to educate society about this condition. The tests and diagnosis, it was also set up in order to create awareness about this still not to be so known genetic syndrome by letting others know the Cornelia de Lange syndrome awareness, in short known as CDLS. We hope to eliminate the stigma individuals and families have to endure, and with more people having a dialogue about syndrome, more support can go into the research for its prevention and treatment. So with this, we shall end today's commemorations and celebrations. We thank each and everyone for being part of these celebrations and commemorations. See you all tomorrow at the same time, the same joining with different commemorations and celebrations. Take care. Good night.